Alexander, I know you gotta see what I'm doing, but don't mess with it. Alright? Gotta sand and buff some stuff. My rifle. Yeah, I know. What is it? Oh, that's not. I'm about to quit. Yes, sir. You get a message on nails will be killing me. Hey, grand day, grand elevations to y'all. I'm hoping the last few days that y'all picked up a little something from what I was expressing and explaining. I share on Instagram that I'll be going live, and I've shared my Instagram, my YouTube account. Yet, I don't want to hammer or beat up on the fact that indoctrination don't mess with my. He like when I got my orange on, you know. What's chewing my feet. Anyway, first, welcome, beloved. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you don't mind, hit the notification bell. Always check it. They're rolling out all the time. I guess it's the new algorithm. I don't know. I don't want to lament on it actually, but there's a lot of things going on. But first, I want to point out something. This is going to take me one sitting to read, and I didn't read it yet because I wanted to get through some other things because of the time. I want to stay cautious, and I want to apply everything to the time that we're in. But if y'all never read Charles River editors, the Charles River editors, the history and legacy of the indigenous natives in South America and the Caribbean, there is more than enough information to, besides my beautiful brother Caramillo, who in the last few days has put out some outstanding, fabulous work. I love conversing with Caramillo. Mac Mean, he's not talking history, but he's talking history as far as the city and the fact of, when you get locked up, right? That's what I like about my brother. My father used to follow me everywhere after he came on the right, regardless how many times he was locked up in Rikers or wherever he was locked up at. He used to, from Nishawane to Watchung, Nishawane to Mount Hebron, to whatever school I was at, he always found a way because of my godfather, Tony, who was gay. It was my godfather, my uncle, and he would let me know, your father's going to meet you, so and so and so. Don't say nothing to nobody. It was always this little secret, so I would meet him. Except for the last time when I carried a stick with him, I wanted to see how he lived, and man, that broke me. And that's why I always looked at the families different. Whether it be my Aunt Cynthia, who I love dearly, my Aunt Joe, whoever, my grandmother, everybody, I looked at them so differently. And there's plenty others who were up there that most of my family, my brothers and them, didn't even know about. And it was up to the women to make sure that we knew all these things. And yeah, I'm aware that some of my relatives have come over and looked at my YouTube channels after the fact. And you would think that it would be discouraging and heartening. I have a lot of things on my plate, but it's not more than I can handle to deal with. I'm dealing with this fake system of medical practice, which is no more than medical malpractice. And they're a death camp. They're no different from Mengele or that witch who was notorious for sleeping and murdering so many, the woman of the Nazi regime. So as the story goes. But there are sadists even on the good sides, just like in our military. We had many sadists that did some foul things, whether it been Desert Storm or the 20-year war. That was purely 20-year war because it was stated for the reset. Their reset. And I have to tell my truth, regardless of how broken or how misaligned or what information may be missing. I'm not in everybody's head, and I'm not in everybody's back room or in their closet. But I can go like you with surface things. This book right here clearly shows you South Americans and the Caribs. They were Negroes, regardless of the hair texture or not. We already know that we were the first beauticians and hair parlors and everything in the Americas. I am well aware that our people were showing them how to repair the roads. They were asking how the building, how all these things were made. And it's funny that they even had the World's Fair because we built buildings using hemp. Hemp grew in abundance here. Hemp was resilient to fire, electricity, which is all around us now. The lesser the oxygen, the less you can sense it. Yet it is here that is how they're able to use UHF and VHF and the repeaters to further push radon or radiation. And the concrete that they use is not the concrete we use because we use plant-based materials. So therefore you didn't have this radon that comes from the concrete. Everything they have done has been totally opposite of what we showed them because it has been detrimental, and it has been detrimental to our lives. These hospitals right now are murdering people. I don't care. They could demand. I don't care because we're at the end of it. There are books, thousands, So how can the Mongols or the Mongolians or anyone want to play us and think that it is all right because they've succeeded everywhere else? You know, they always say when you start a race, there's an end. I believe they consummated in their false reality that the end is them on top and there's a winner. There's never no such thing as a winner. Why am I saying this? I'm going to read this to you guys. And I'm going to read it to you in a couple of hours. I just want to talk first. This is part of what I do now until I don't do it no more. St. George Pulmonary Clinic, Utah. Utah is Utah. I don't care for the people who don't believe about this Egypt and all that, but it is. Utah was everywhere as we were. I'm reading to you Costello because he knew. Didn't matter his death because he knew to be on the right side of things. Even in the Lamentations of Tolan, some broken history of what he was indoctrinated with as far as what he could find out. These fake Jews, and I don't like saying fake because if you were to come over and I was practicing my ways, now these are perversions, and I'm going to get to that, of what they practice. If you were living my lifestyle as we did, tilling the land, providing happy, the children raised right, we didn't break that. We didn't ostracize ourselves from that. Was there a great war, a war that you couldn't even comprehend? People look at suits of armor. When I remember putting a suit of armor on, I was doing backflips and rolling and everything. People were like, what, man? I thought they had us, everybody believing that suits of armor was heavy and clumsy and how could you get on a horse? You know, you've seen the movies. That's not the case. The suits was to harness the energy around us, to use the earth was our protector. We were our own weapons. We were highly spiritual, but we hadn't reached the pinnacle of our truth. It was normal. Instead of us reciprocating to better it, we fell off. There were those of us who created perversions. There were those of us who thought it in the best interest to hide many truths. And then there were those of them who were with us, who decided that they wanted to change the whole narrative. You know, when bodies rot, when things are dying, and change is inevitable in a bad way, it affects the mind, it affects the soul, it affects the everything. These people in St. George, Utah, I went in there when I was poisoned with somebody I was with, throwing up blood. Nowhere in my biology, nowhere in our physiology, nowhere in our family's history. Because of what I was saying for so many years, what I've learned. Now I'm not cautious about what I talk about. I don't care. Then I went there and only time would have healed me. If I didn't go there, time would have healed me. But I didn't have the right people around me, the right women. That's why I'm saying it's important, women, that y'all get together, and brothers, y'all choose the better of women who can come together with other good women. They're still here. They just need the incentive. I don't care what color they are. Somebody asked me, remember I told you that? They asked me again the other day, but they asked me a couple of weeks ago, would you marry a pale-skinned woman? I said, well, no. Right now, I wouldn't marry no. I'd rather be with the melanated sisters. But would I be with one? Well, it depends. The one I met in Germany or the one I met in Scotland, they be burying my children if I had the chance. Because it's not about the color. We are still so broken, wayside of our truth and everyone's truth. We are so polluted with the world's history and then the dichotomy of people like the Kardashians, all these things that are vile and evil. They are not women, nor are they the men. I look at Taye Diggs and I'm like, what in the world is going on? Everybody forgets he had to ask Will Smith for $1 million. He gave him $5 million. Well, he's doing good now. Why? He made some choices. Now he's running around wearing dresses and sachet, touche. You know, nobody wants to see this, the perversions, because these are the things that we have a hard time gathering. I look at Quilly Ray. I'm looking at some of these indigenous brothers liking on its videos by Ben Benzito. Quilly Ray is a boy. There's many girls now who were born boys. It's a fact. I'm sorry, but if your ring finger is longer than your pinky, your pointer finger, you are not a female. That is biology 101. Quilly Ray's damn ring finger is about as long as his middle finger. But because he's young and because Benzino, you see his position, you see the parts he plays, he has become possessed by the demons of his evil, the decisions he's made. I'm not cursing Quilly Ray. He is doing what he wants to do. I'm not here to badmouth Quilly Ray. It's living his life, regardless of whether you want to see it foul or not. What I am speaking on is these Jews have sacked upon our history and have perverted it. And then they made sure that we would not speak our language. Well, let me help you out with the true nature of the so-called indigenous tongue. Many of the words are in this language, and many others. The reason why they don't speak our ancestral language, because they cannot decipher it. Only one individual came close to deciphering the language. And he realized that we're not talking about God, per se as in God, but the gods. And that word is very lucid. I already expressed to you that we're literally talking about our history in the beginning and the end. That stuff you see they're talking about is Aramaic, whatever they say is the Jewish language, is not. They added vowels and it means absolutely nothing to our language. It's a brand new made up language that has nothing to do, yet they've used the diatribe of our written text to falsify a new language. And there's a reason why that language is everywhere, yet nobody can read it, nor can we, because it is based upon the people. We, the people. That is what everything is circled around. That's why the sickness and the disease you see, costume characters, judges, and everything. And even though he was able to decipher some of it, it alludes to the fact of it as an ancient, millennia old story. Everywhere around us, the codexes, everything, no matter how the words and the labels and the narratives that we put forth. And then we have all these groups, these religious groups, Moors, Muslims, and Christians, much older than what people think, but by a different narrative. Even that is lied upon. Because as old as they are, they're roughly new. Because they have been incited because of the religious dichotomy of those who would convert and then forget and then plagiarize and then pervert our ancestral ways that was known all over the earth. All the earth was in harmony and peace, love and light, laughter and more love than you can even imagine. And here they are, without notification or anything, these wayward individuals. They're pumping poisons and toxins into people's bodies. And they have mitigated it by false narratives and changed things in ways you cannot imagine. I looked at this dummy who don't live around here walking around. You just don't do that here. Somebody hit me up and says, you see that dude walking around? Well, we're watching him. Where? That's all I can say. These people really don't understand the test of time because they believe they have really been put to the test. Yet they look around and they know that the destruction they see out there is real. And now they have steeped themselves because they are following people who have convinced them that they did that when these idiots, Schwab, the H&I, whatever, they didn't do this. They didn't do none of that. Yet they have collaborated because of the Rothschilds and this, that, and other. It's a fake name, a name stolen by a flag in Bavaria at a tavern, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, all of them. And they have consummated an old story to believe that they will be the pallbearers of a new one, and then grieved into a lie with a whole lot of individuals who have nothing to do with the truth other than being here and not knowing it. They have sat upon themselves in sacrilege with an enemy and enemies who wants to see this played out because of their design. And yet, they really don't know what they're doing. When you can forego love and you can bypass all this intricacies and intrinsic behaviors and mannerisms and all those wonderful, beautiful things that people have only got samples of, imagine them in abundance. The world is sick. And I say the world because the world exists because the people are in it. They had to have us eating the animals. The animals were not put here for us to consume. We had more fruits and vegetables and herbs and spices, and we didn't eat a lot. The air was different. They came in and they terraformed. And how they do it? By establishing the destruction of the old world and the incorporation of a new world to push out all kind of fumes and toxins and poisons to first slow the rate of growth and age. And then to start consuming with those what they created for war, and at the same time removing all those things that can heal, all the bells that toll, and all the harmonious things that were based upon a frequency that is compassionate to all living things. The trees grow larger and bear much beautiful fruit. They even went as far as to get one of their little secret society idiots now on TikTok and I guess Instagram to run around saying, the fruit is not GMO. Excuse me, any plant that has any fruit-bearing tree that does not bear seeds is genetically modified. And it's not natural. It's different if it's done by our hands compared to chemical splicing and slicing, removing and adding. They do not know what they do, but they do what they believe they know. And then they're cowards, and when they believe they got up enough brawls to deal with those of us who are in the know, they want to approach us in their meaningless lies, as if that's going to be okay. For the majority, you saw the post I put about the Africa. I have utter disdain or disrespect for even that term, that word. For that word is new and based on an ideology and a narrative just as black. You even have some fake aboriginal talking about black has always been the term and some young dumb imbecile who does not know better. And nobody is spooning and schooling him because you have idiots who are bandwagon lives because they have been indoctrinated for terms and terminologies to utilize the same terms as if it's going to benefit in the end. Some of you have seen these posts, and I know you have. I had people that share it. What is your take on this, Red? I don't have no take. I don't care. I'm only expressing this to you because there's so much misleading information out here. It's like you're the needle and the haystack is all the misinformation and the lies. You have these individuals that say they're pro-black, therefore they're pro-death, and that's what you see that comes from it. You have the young man that says running around out there, and I put the video up, and you know who he's related to. In California, obviously, a soil that has been perverted with a lot of stupid wickedness. With his dread driving a BMW who got in an accident or a Mercedes-Benz, whatever. And he got up from the couch barefoot and was running and licking his lips. I believe that he was slightly poisoned and he realized it. And in the confusion of attempting to calm down, he knew that there are police that are behind it, EMTs, fire department individuals, government officials. He knows that there's a whole lot of folks, security, music industry, that are very wicked over there. Bohemian Grove, you'd be surprised at some of the stories I heard about Bohemian Grove and a lot of the gay individuals, melanated men who went there, and the positions they worked that you would never know they were gay, like wives and kids, who would go there and sleep with some of these politicians and everything. A lot of these execs on these shows. And he said they're going to George Floyd me. Sure enough, he was alive, handcuffed, put into a gurney, put into the back of the ambulance. And it's funny. What's funny is he gets to the hospital and 4 hours later, he's dead. They did exactly what they were going to do to him because he knew too much and he was talking too much. He played the game just like his relatives, fooled everybody with the Black Lives Matter and everything else. Look at some of the Spanish politicians who went to sleep recently and don't wake up. You don't get how deep this game is. Me, I don't care. I'm not here to stop it. The problem is most people know it and don't care. Or those who know it don't really say nothing. The problem is I don't care about none of it. What I care about is my people, my orthogonous, my original people. That the women need to learn how to sing. The women need to come over and stop being stuck on other platforms where it's just the same drama-filled stuff. I know it's hard not to feed that what you've been feeding for so long, but sometimes you have to step away from a plate and a table that is not beneficial or healthy for you. It's not that I need a whole lot of folk here. I just would love to see other people come and realize something. They've never translated our ancient language, tablets, stones, or anything. They were left behind because we would come upon them. It is within our DNA, but our women must learn to sing. And I'm not talking about Whitney and Aretha Franklin. Even they told you back then that love was what it, and even the Beatles in their last days told you, all we need is love, love. And that was the dismantle of them because they saw the error of their ways parlaying with the society of individual groups. Because if you go back and listen to what the Yellow Submarine is really about and all those other songs, you'll see the perversions like the Rolling Stones and Devil's Anthem and all that other stuff. If you would just for a moment take a breather and relax, stand still and quiet yourself and allow all the noise to dissipate and allow yourself to think heavy in thought about things opposite or other than what you know. It's a process. It'll start coming. It'll start coming to you. I was out there again this AM, barefoot, shorts, tank top. Snowed a little bit on the ground. My footprints were just as clear as day. Snow all around where my stones are all lined around. My 3 capitular stand. A trinket on the door hangs, and I face the north. And I home. And I felt pain in my heart when I home, like something had to break. And I felt it twice. My body's fighting a toxin in me that was never meant to be put in there. And it was put in there by these individuals. I don't fear it. I'm not even worried about it. The reality is I'm aware of it because I have conversed with too many individuals who worked in the medical field in Utah who recently left and says they're killing people, who refused to give them shots, who were barred from there, who went to Texas, Phoenix. And a friend of mine who was in the Air Force, a paramedic, a PJ, who says, man, come down here, man, we'll test your blood. So I'm waiting for them to return my call, but they're afraid to because they know. The problem is, what's even worse, I'm not a person who put threats. I'm not here to hurt or harm nobody. But if you put out an action, for every action, there's an opposite and even greater. And there are people who know these names of these individuals, every last one of them. I have no control over them. It's bigger than what you think. Listen to me, the only way these people are going to win is to unleash nukes and to hide. And even hiding is not going to stop nothing. That I can say with a fact. All those people in the cartels murdering one another and murdering other people and chopping up and all that. Disemboweling and beheading an individual does not stop their ascension. And if they were bad, then they get to see in the moment before their death. And the innocent, these people will have to pay a thousand, a trillion fold, and they don't really get what they're gonna have to pay. They have allowed religion to come in and pervert them, and then they have looked in a quasi form, another one that's revert somewhere else, and then they have accepted it and say, I'm gonna be responsible in doing their act. And then they have those who walk around and feel so empty, and they act amongst these atrocities, and they believe that it's going to be all right. They really don't get it. They don't get it. I'm not going to ask no cry for y'all no more. I'm just going to read from now on until the last read is read. The last read is read. Excuse me. I just swallowed. Has fear in all forms struck in y'all? Fear of a job, fear of where my next meal is going to come from, fear of water. Has your fear of if I leave, I'm going to be murdered? My fear of my children. Let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to lose more than that. And that last decision, why didn't I move then? Why didn't I get up and leave? Why didn't I change? Why did I go to make the better? It lies with y'all. I have a funny feeling in the back of my head that if y'all do it and things change and calm, then you will lose faith in yourself and realize, oh, nothing was going to happen. The ignorance will come in. That is the story of that is the story of Moses coming from the mountain in his intrepid days of servitude. I'm using this as an allegory. That when he came down, the people were persuaded and swayed by an individual to go back to their old ways and reciprocate the poison. We're in that right now. That's in the back of my head, that if y'all come together and learn to sing and stand and raise your spiritual awareness and to create this natural force field and to start cleansing the things around, which they don't want, then some of you might become comfortable, and the individuals who are broken as our past ancestors were long ago would turn and say, look at this, we don't have to do this no more. And the jackals would jump on that. And this time they would jump on with better knowledge, and they would squash any uprising. And this is not an uprising. The uprising is the perversions we see. Us reestablishing ourselves is stepping back into the order of things. The uprising is going against order. Uprising against order. Stepping back into order has nothing to do with uprising. Uprising would be only saw by us stepping back in order, seen as an uprising, we only saw that way by the narcissists and the perverse. And yet you still have so much fear because you have been so well groomed and indoctrinated that you cannot leave your job. You cannot remove yourself. You don't know what it takes to heal. It takes us together again as a nation in order to heal all things, to lay beside each other and imagine and dream up the things that we have dreamt up before, because it is within us. You don't get it. You don't get it how important it is. You know how many times I've been around people and I wanted to share these things, and I couldn't because I could feel from them that they would never accept the reality of the responsibility required by them. And therefore they would stay in their perversion. So one of the reasons why I was poisoned, like I would allude to. And some would say, well, Ray, if you were poisoned, why didn't you do this, that, and other? See how emotionally unstable the men are? Because I know you first think that. And then the women, how light you are not, how disconnected from your light you are. That if you knew the truth, you would move heaven and hell. Just like everybody running over there to fight for Ukraine. Y'all don't stand for nothing, so you fall for everything. Do you think that we can't destroy their nanites, their nanotechnology? Do you think that we cannot manifest and change what they've changed? Do you think that we cannot destroy with a word or with a whimper, with a thought, everything they have created? Do you think that we cannot stop in midair whatever it is we choose? Well, we can't, because y'all have not had reasoning with yourself or moral subjugation to change the dynamics of the situation. You have allowed yourself to stay steeped in that perversion, and all of you have. Every last one of you have decided to stay steeped in your perversion. Older women wanting to be with younger men and all this other stuff, and feed their hormonal imbalance of what they've done and keep themselves in a purgatory. And older men want to be with younger women, but not for the right reasons, because they're not strong enough to be the ones to be bearing the seeds. Majority of men are broken. Your seeds are no good, but you can still build a lot. And the seeds that are good, the women would know if the women were together. And it wouldn't be drama, laugh, and hee hee ha ha. It would be different. It would be a feeling. It would be just a knowing. It would just be a knowing. It would be so natural. Yeah, I know how it ends. But I know how it can end. First time I'm saying it. I know how it ends, but I know how it can end. And why do I say that? It's obvious as my dreams and what I've been taught, the stories I've been told so many times with different people I've met. It's the same story. It's like, and in my head I'm going, this person knows them people way over there. You don't get it. There's a circle. Just like they have a circle, there's another circle. For every opposite, for everything, there's an opposite, right? Some of you are probably pondering, I never said the right thing to meet those kind of people. Maybe you've come across them and they heard you talk and realized you're not it. I don't know. It's not for me to go out and see and listen to people and find out that that's what we need. I'm not in that circle. I just know what I've been delivered and what I've been given. And I'm sharing it. No fear. None whatsoever. Anger. Resilience. Resilience. They can't accept that they're going to fail. Just like y'all can't accept the reality of the rationale of what you're capable of. They're going to keep poisoning you. That's not going to stop shit. All that flying and shit they're doing, they are stuck there. It's not going to stop a damn thing. They love what they're seeing right now because they're seeing people drop dead left and right. It's working. Because those people are weak. They're weak. I can't give medical advice. I can only talk about what I know. I can't dispute diseases or not. I can tell you that, and I can state this from this point of view, this IMO. that there's nothing out here that was meant to benefit any of us. It's a slow process, patience and time. They know it's powerful and they've utilized it. You, on the other hand, you misutilize it. You think patience means, take another day. No. It means do today what you should have done yesteryear. Time, how do you want to implement it? In the ethers. You are time. Do you not have a birthday? Do you not look at the clock all the time? Do you not pay attention and wonder about the next moment? Have you scheduled the meal? Are you always thinking about the drive home? Oh, I gotta go to the store. When is this letter coming? How long is it gonna take me to put this music together? Where are my children? It's based upon time, not just location. Location is steeped in time because now you have to rally. Oh, it's gonna take them 5 minutes, 20 minutes. Everything is steeped in this false time. It's a paradigm based on a construct to keep you stuck, stressing, raising cortisol levels, removing more time ether from you, removing you and separating you from it, your soul, because you do nothing for it, the soul of the source, the light, the energy, whatever you want to call it. It is imperative. You have to start making some crushingly hard decisions, and I ain't talking about yesterday, nor tomorrow. I'm talking like, add 20 years. When you should have made it long ago because you didn't know no better. You shouldn't have to make any decision, but I'm just saying right now, because of the time we live. I have to think. I have to think, y'all, because some things I just can't say. You have decisions to make. Seriously. I'm gonna give a shout out and I'm gonna sign off. And I appreciate everybody coming in. Listen to this old engine, this old cowboy. I appreciate you all. Round of Southern, beloved. Grand elevations to you, beloved. Peace, my brother APJR. Mama Red, nothing but hearts. You already know. Lamones Jr. And peace and blissfulness upon you. Roy Davenport, may you be blessed. And blessings upon you, brother. What's going on, one? Grand elevations. Joshua, y'all know he had to take a little breather hiatus from this. It's good to see you back. Nappy Poet, what's going on, beloved? How was your workout the other day? Donk, I get paid to do nothing to grow my brain. I'm a real indigenous. I don't have to work. People work for me. I don't want nobody to work for me. I don't want nobody to work at all. I like to see people come together and gather their resources of truth. And it has nothing to do with the word work. Melanin has nothing to do with a curse, brother. Nothing to do with a curse at all. You know, Cain is a story that's based upon fiction because it is not in the ancient Hebraic writings. Cain has perceived If you don't know the story of the pearl and the dark wolf, it has nothing to do with man, but everything to do with us. There's no such thing. It's a deliberate misinformation to keep people doing what you just did. It's not religion. We are not religious. Religion is garbage. And I'm going to say this again. Go back and watch all my videos, because I'm not going to go over and over and over. There are those who know, and there are the masses who know not. Hebrew is not a religion. Hebraicism is a lifestyle that has nothing to do with religion. It's become a construct and a consort by liars who have forgot the privilege that they were allowed to convert when it really wasn't meant for them to convert, because the conversion was not wanted. War allowed it, made it permissible, and it was not the war that you think. It was a war against something else. Trust me. You don't know. Melanin is what gives us our strength. And they all know this. So be mindful. They know. And Utah, I'll discuss later on before I read our white book. Because Roy asked me, and which called, if I expand on it, and I already told you I would, brother. Patience. And there's many in here because of the information I've shared in some of my posts. Negro Head Mountain Trail, blah, blah, blah. The fact that they're now being honest about the mummies. Why they have some of the most perverse people in a place that's so quiet with the less. When you want to talk about the less people, Utah. As though it seems like a lot. And the prisons there, why you see so many of the racists, people don't know this. But I will elaborate further on Utah. Yes, we are our own worst enemies, but we don't have to be our own worst enemies. There's something so much broader across the plane of information. That information that we believe to be information is skewed. It is not information, but redirection and misdirection. We must study, read about it, chew the fruit, spit out the seeds, or let the earth do the nurturing and growing as we till it. So where I walk, as I'm chewing the fruit, and where I spit the seeds, the dirt is toil. There's no toil. It's been tilled. So then the earth and the waters from below will nourish everything. They have perverted that. We're the same as the fruit and the seed. The problem is they've been chewing us up and taking the seeds and changing them. We're not meat nor food. Our word was always to be our bond because it was part of our source. And we have become so disconnected from our source that the melanin is the only thing that's given us direction. And we haven't even tapped into it. So to speak upon melanin or anything without the knowledge, as simple as it may be, that is the curse. The curse is to consummate with everything that's been put out in front of you without finding a way to steep yourself in its truth. Because everything is around you. You just have to put the puzzle together. Whenever we say, thank you, Joshua, and thank you, Nappy, stronger is power. That's where energy goes. Our worst enemy, when we give it strength, we become our worst enemy. So we stop using these things that are plural. Are synonymous to what we're in. We must detract from it. You heard what I said early on. We must stop allocating ourselves to these terms that weaken us and start allocating ourselves to power, head up, strength, enlightenment, nurturing, love. The obedience doesn't have to be put all over where it's usurped all the time. The obedience is the nature of love in natural order, to which is not normal, but normalized because we step back into order, then it becomes normal. And then what becomes normal needs no explanation, no self-explanation, because we're in it. Right now, we're in perversions, so we always allocate ourselves to that, and we express that in so many dynamic ways that is not beautiful in dynamics, but it's the worst part of the dynamics. We must give energy to the things that are going to benefit, to change the course, change the direction, and pull us back to where we need to be, that has always been there, instead of keep going to a place that never existed, where we seem to be in right now. Rep, hey honey, did you get that? There's nothing wrong with Nav driving in her truck, or APJR working where he's at, or Rondo down in Tucson, or Westside in the studio, or Rep in the nursing home, standing every once in a while in the silence and then out loud where nobody's watching to go, and do it from the diaphragm and to go deeper. And deeper. Now imagine being together and doing that. And then to start going, they will never succeed. They will never succeed. We stopped them in the beginning. They have failed. They will never succeed. We stopped them in the beginning. And so on. And so on. And so on. That is a chant. No more. No more. It is ended. It is done. My beautiful ladies, my brothers, see you shortly.